Marcus is 44 years old. He makes $94,000 a year. He has a 401k. He has a savings account with actual money in it. He pays his credit card off every month. Well, most months. He bought a house. He didn't blow his money on a boat or a gambling habit or some crypto scheme his brother-in-law pitched him at Thanksgiving. By every surface-level measure, Marcus is doing the responsible adult thing. And yet, last February, Marcus sat down to actually look at his net worth for the first time in a few years. And the number hadn't really moved. Not dramatically, not in a way he could point to and say, "There, that's the moment I messed up." It had just stayed flat. Like a pond with no current. He's been doing this for 15 years, and the water level is almost exactly where it was. And Marcus is sitting there wondering, did I do something wrong, or is something wrong with the game? Welcome to Dollar Blind, and if you've ever felt like Marcus responsible, not reckless, doing the right things, and still watching your net worth barely move, this video is going to explain exactly why that happens. Not with vague advice about cutting lattes, with the actual structural reasons that wealth doesn't build even when you're being a functional adult about your money. There are 4 of them. Most people stumble on the first one and never even see the other 3. And the third one is the one nobody in the financial media wants to talk about, because fixing it doesn't require buying anything. So let's get into it. First, let's be clear about what doing everything right actually means in practice, because I think a lot of people are operating on a checklist that was written for a different economic era. The standard responsible adult financial checklist looks something like this. You have a job with benefits. You contribute to your 401k, at least enough to get the match. You have a checking account and a savings account. You own a home, or you're working toward owning one. You don't carry high-interest debt, or if you do, it's a manageable amount that you're working on. You pay your bills on time. You have a credit score somewhere in the good to excellent range. You're not living paycheck to paycheck technically, although some months are tighter than others. If that describes you, congratulations, you have successfully completed the 1987 Personal Finance Curriculum. You are doing what generations of financial advice have told you to do. And here's the brutal truth. That checklist will not make you wealthy. It will keep you stable. It will keep you functional. But it was never designed to build serious net worth, and nobody told you that when you were checking the boxes. This is important because when people in Marcus's situation look at their flat net worth and feel shame, the shame is misplaced. They didn't fail the system. The system just didn't come with a second manual, the one that explains how wealth actually compounds and why following the basic rules keeps you in place, while a much smaller group of people quietly pulls ahead. That's what this video is. It's the second manual. And it starts with the first killer, silent killer. Number 1, lifestyle inflation. I know, you've heard this before. Bear with me, because I'm not going to lecture you about avocado toast. I'm going to show you the math because the math is the only thing that makes this real. Lifestyle inflation is not about being irresponsible. It's about being human. When your income goes up, your standard of living goes up to match it. Almost automatically, almost invisibly. This is not a character flaw. It is a deeply wired psychological response. Economists call it hedonic adaptation, and it is absolutely eating your net worth alive. Here's how it works in practice. Marcus is 29 and makes $58,000 a year. He drives a used Honda. He and his wife rent a 2-bedroom apartment. They go out to dinner once or twice a week. Nothing fancy. He puts about $200 a month into his 401k because that's what gets him the employer match. Life is lean, but fine. At 34, Marcus gets a promotion. He's now making $76,000. What changes? The car gets upgraded, nothing crazy, just a nicer used car, and now there's a car payment. At 40, he's at $94,000. They bought the house. There's a mortgage now, plus property taxes, plus home insurance, plus the HOA, plus the maintenance that nobody warned them about. The cars are newer. There are 2 of them. The kids are in activities that cost money every month. There are subscriptions, streaming, software, gym memberships, meal kits, a cloud storage plan. Each individual item is justifiable. Together, they have silently consumed almost every dollar of his income increase for the past 15 years. This is lifestyle inflation. not a yacht, not a gambling problem. Just 100 completely sensible, individually justifiable spending decisions that collectively move in perfect lockstep with every raise he ever got. The result? At 44, Marcus earns 62% more than he did at 29. His net worth has grown by almost exactly the same percentage as his income, which means his savings rate has stayed roughly flat for 15 years. He's running on a treadmill. The treadmill is getting faster, he's keeping up, and going nowhere. The fix is not to stop spending. The fix is to automate the gap. Every time your income increases, a predetermined percentage of that increase before you see it, before you spend it, before your lifestyle inflate into it, goes straight into a wealth-building vehicle, not your savings account, into something that compounds. We'll get to what that looks like in a minute. But first, killer number 2. Silent killer number 2. A savings rate that looks responsible and is actually almost useless. Pause the video right now. Seriously, pause it. Take your annual take-home pay after taxes, after everything, and multiply it by 0.08. That's your number if you're saving at the American average. Write it down, or don't pause the video and just do the math in your head. I'll wait. That number is what the average American manages to save each year. And here's what I need you to understand. That savings rate, maintained over a working career, will not produce retirement security for most households. Not even close. Let me show you why. A household bringing home $85,000 a year after taxes, saving 8%, that's $6,800 a year. Invested at a 7% average annual return over 30 years that grows to approximately $683,000. That sounds like a lot until you run the other side of the math. At a standard 4% withdrawal rate, that $683,000 produces about $27,000 a year in retirement income. Add Social Security, let's say $22,000 a year for a single earner, and you're at roughly $49,000 a year in retirement. For a household that was spending $85,000 a year while working, that's a 42% pay cut on the day you stop working with no ability to go back. Now, watch what happens if that same household saves 20% instead. Same income, same return, same 30 years. They end up with about $1.7 million. Withdrawal rate gives them $68,000 a year from investments. Add Social Security and they're at $90,000. They're actually earning more in retirement than they were while working. Same income, same time horizon. The difference between a retirement that works and a retirement that doesn't is 12 percentage points of savings rate. Here's the thing, saving 8% feels responsible. It feels like you're doing the right thing. And compared to the Americans who save nothing, you are. But the standard for doing better than average and the standard for actually building wealth are two very different standards, and nobody tells you that until it's almost too late to do anything about it. The target, if you want your net worth to actually move, is 20% of gross income. Not take home. Gross. For most households in the $75,000 to $140,000 range, that means maxing out your 401k, adding a Roth IRA on top, and potentially going further. If you're not there yet, the goal isn't to get there tomorrow. It's to increase your savings rate by 1 or 2 percentage points every year until you are. 1% of $90,000 is $900 a year. That's $75 a month. That is not a life-altering sacrifice. But compounded over 25 years, it changes your retirement by more than $100,000. Okay, we're at killer number 3. This is the one I mentioned at the start that nobody in financial media wants to talk about. And I want to be precise about why it's not because it's a secret. It's because fixing it doesn't sell a product. There's nothing to buy. There's just a concept to understand, and it changes how you think about every asset you own. Silent killer number 3, dead money. Dead money is money you have that is not working for you. It looks like savings. It counts as an asset. It shows up on your net worth spreadsheet. And it is producing almost nothing while inflation quietly eats it from the outside. The most common examples in American households are these. Cash sitting in a traditional savings account. The national average interest rate on a standard savings account is somewhere around 0.5% right now. Inflation over the past few years has been running anywhere from 3% to 8%. You do that math. Holding $30,000 in a traditional savings account for 5 years at 0.5% while inflation runs at 4% means your $30,000 has the purchasing power of roughly $26,500 by year 5. You're not saving money, you're losing it in slow motion. A high-yield savings account, a money market fund, or short-term treasury bills at 4% to 5%, these are not exotic investments. They are just not products your bank profits from telling you about. Home equity. Now, I want to be careful here because home ownership does build wealth over time, with appreciation. But equity locked in a home is not liquid. It is not invested. It is not compounding in any meaningful year-to-year sense. A lot of households look at their home equity and feel wealthy. And on paper, they are. But that equity cannot pay your bills in retirement unless you sell the house or borrow against it. Equity is not income. It's worth knowing the distinction. Whole life insurance cash value. I'll keep this one brief because it's its own full video. But if you have a whole life or universal life insurance policy that was sold to you as an investment, if an insurance agent told you it builds cash value, that cash value is almost certainly growing at a rate that is materially worse than a simple index fund. The pattern across all three of these is the same. The money exists. It is technically an asset, and it is not being deployed in a way that grows your net worth at a rate that outpaces inflation. Dead money is one of the primary reasons responsible households look at their net worth after 15 years and feel like the number should be higher. Because the number should be higher. They had the money, it just wasn't working. Silent killer number 4, the income-wealth disconnect. This one is subtle, and it's the one that hits hardest for high earners. The assumption most people operate under is that earning more money is the same as building more wealth. It is not. Earning more money is an input. Wealth is an output. And the conversion between those two things is not automatic. It requires a decision specifically. The decision about what happens to each additional dollar of income before you see it and spend it. Here's the pattern I see constantly. Household income goes from $80,000 to $110,000 over a few years. The lifestyle adjusts as we talked about. The savings rate stays roughly the same in percentage terms. The households that actually build wealth at higher income levels are doing something different. They are treating income increases as wealth-building inputs, not lifestyle upgrades. When a raise comes in, before it touches their lifestyle, a specific percentage is redirected automatically, not as a willpower exercise into index funds, retirement accounts, or other appreciating assets. The lifestyle does improve, but it improves at a rate slower than income growth. The gap between income growth and lifestyle growth is where wealth accumulates. Sounds simple? It is simple. It's not easy because we live in a culture that signals status through consumption, and the people around you are inflating their lifestyles right alongside you, and every upgrade feels completely justified. But the math is unambiguous. The households that build serious net worth on middle-class incomes are not doing it through investing genius or stock-picking luck. They are doing it by consistently converting a meaningful share of each income dollar into an asset before it can become a spending decision. That's it. That's the mechanism. High income plus high spending equals slow net worth growth. Moderate income plus high savings rate equals faster net worth growth than most people expect. Let's go back to Marcus. Marcus, at 44, has 4 things working against him. Lifestyle inflation that has kept his savings rate flat for 15 years. A savings rate that is technically positive, but structurally inadequate. A chunk of his financial assets sitting in dead money positions, a traditional savings account, home equity he can't access, and a whole life policy his dad told him was a good idea in 2004. And every raise he's gotten in the past decade has been absorbed by his lifestyle before it could become wealth. Now, here's what changes if Marcus fixes just one of them. Let's say Marcus does nothing except increase his savings rate from 8% to 15% starting today. He doesn't change his investment strategy. He doesn't move his savings account. He doesn't sell the house. He doesn't cancel the life insurance. He just directs an additional 7% of his income into his 401k before it hits his checking account. At $94,000 a year, that's about $550 extra a month. Over the next 20 years, at a 7% average annual return, that additional $550 a month compounding in a tax-advantaged account produces approximately $285,000 in additional retirement assets, on top of whatever he already has. From one change, one number, one decision made today. If he fixes all four, the math gets genuinely life-changing. But you don't have to fix all four today. You have to fix one, the one that's most costing you, with the easiest lever to pull. For most people reading this, that's the savings rate, because it's the one with the biggest impact and the most immediate fix. Here's the one thing I want you to do before you close this video. Not a 10-step overhaul. One thing, open your 401k account right now on your phone, on your laptop, wherever it lives, and look at your contribution rate. Just look at the number. If it's below 15% of your gross income, increase it by 2% today. Not eventually. Today. 2%. If you don't have a 401k, open a Roth IRA. It takes about 15 minutes online. You can contribute up to $7,000 a year if you're under 50, $8,000 if you're over. Put it in a total market index fund. Set up automatic contributions. Walk away. That account will do more for your net worth over the next 20 years than almost any other single decision you can make right now. The reason your net worth isn't growing isn't because you're bad with money. It's because the basic playbook you were given was designed to keep you stable, not to make you wealthy. The wealth-building version of that playbook has 4 extra pages. You just read them. Now the question is what you actually do with the information. Marcus already knows what he's doing tonight. I hope you do too. If this video hit differently than your typical finance content, subscribe. We do this every week. Real numbers, real math, no products to sell you. And if you know someone who's in the same place, Marcus was doing everything right and watching the water level stay flat, send them this video. It might be the most useful 15 minutes they spend this month. I'll see you in the next one.